Hey guys, it's Peter. Um, I just felt like I was in the mood to talk about my thoughts on art. Um, art is art is something else, you know. It's not just the the ideas that we are taught in school, where it's like painting and drawing and all that. You know, I mean, that's the basics for sure. I mean, that's where you start. That's where I started. But art's so much more. You know, it's art is the act of creating what you are seeing for someone else. It's interesting. It's fun. It's a good time. You know, um, I like art a lot. I have a lot of thoughts in my head, lots of thoughts in my head, and yeah, I just wanted to show off some of my art, help explain my opinion on the subject. So here's some. We'll start with some of the more abstract stuff, and then I can get into more representational stuff. So the first that I will be showing you is a bit of a series, and it's very abstract. This was actually the matting that I was using for making a piece that I will be showing you in a sec. But it just, it showed what it meant to me. It's a piece of the puzzle. I needed to use this mat in order to make what I'm gonna show you later. I needed it. It was part of my thoughts. It's part of me. So it's very basic, just yellow. Kind of looks neat, I guess. And I think it's visually interesting, even though it's just yellow on white. It doesn't really by itself have a lot of meaning, but it's a piece of the puzzle. It's it it, it means it was. I liked it enough that I hung it on my wall. I remember when I was using it, I was just looking at it. I was like, this means something to me. You know, this is part of what I'm trying to create. Here's another one, same basic idea. A little less interesting, if you ask me, but I liked it. It's another piece of the puzzle. It's another piece of the puzzle. And the work that they were related to it has its own special meaning to me. It's sort of a mind map. It's like a waking dream that I've been having. I see it. I think if you guys watched my last video, I talked about seeing something in my head clearer than I'm seeing what's before me. And this has been in my mind for a while now. And it relates to, a bigger project that I'm working on. It's dumb. I'm writing a comic book. I'll just be honest. I think it's pretty cool, It's fun to make your own characters and to, sort of express emotions that you're feeling, but through a different lens, Make it your own version of it. And you can like dramatically raise it and make it so that it's like basically like turning everything up to 11, like the emotions that you're feeling might be strong, but this is like peak, or it might be like, for me, this character deals with a lot of anger, and I have anger too. I'm decently good at managing my anger, but this guy is, whew, like, if I didn't have a filter, that's basically what it is. If I didn't have a filter, and if I had combat training, and was totally bad shit insane, that's what this guy would be. It's crazy, and I'm sorry if that's weird to you, but anyways, this is like a mind map. It's like an early planning stage. I already had an idea of what I'm going for, but this was like what my brain was seeing. This is the act of my mind creating this character. That's what this painting represents to me. So this yellow is loosely based off of his emblem. Purposefully broke apart the pieces to show that there are pieces that I've been developing over time that needed to be assembled in order to make a bigger work, a bigger character. And I added these whites. I added these whites up at the top to sort of inspire, the idea that, like, it's sort of dealing with the typical religious idea of heaven being above you. And I believe that if there is such a thing, it falls to you. It's where you have this, like, antenna in your brain. You're more than, it's like I don't even know how to explain it. You're an antenna for ideas, and the good that comes to you through your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, and even through the creative thoughts in your mind. It's the good, the positivity is falling down to you, and you're being gifted with it. And that's what this is. And that's why there's white dripping down. And not all the white wants to cling, and so that's why I have these droplets of it falling off. And then I did the reverse, where there's the negativity growing up. Negativity is something we often push down, and as you push it down, it builds. It builds up, and it gets to the point where you can't keep holding it down anymore. And so this blackness is supposed to have the idea of it floating up. And it doesn't always cling to you. Sometimes it floats up, and sometimes the negativity floats up into the positivity and creates more positivity. You're able to channel that negativity into something better. And sometimes the positivity, too much of a good thing, drops down, it doesn't cling to you, and it falls into the negativity. And that's where the ego, that's where the part of you that loves the good, loves to gratify yourself. That's where this ego likes to. That's when the ego goes nuts, and that's how we get horrible things. And you can apply that to a big scale, like you get a lot of followers politically, and you get a lot of power. Well, sometimes all that power that you were meaning to use for good will drop down, and it'll fall into the negativity, and it'll build the negativity and bring it to the surface. And now you can see in the background, I guess before I move on to that guy back there, these are my characters. The Beetle. The Beetle is the good guy. He's the one that's fighting for what's right. He is the superpower. He's like what you should strive to be. And then there's Durin. Durin's that me that I was telling you about, where everything's dialed up to 11, Feeling everything stronger than you're meant to feel it will inevitably not go so well for you. And that's what Durin's all about. It's about shooting forward, feeling everything more, not allowing yourself to have that sense of balance, the white and the black doesn't blend, it doesn't make a gray. Instead, it just is clinging to this symbol. And so Durin wants to be good. Durin wants to be great, but as this representation shows, he gets entangled in his negativity. And the beetle finds his balance, He has his light, he has his dark. He uses them together to his advantage. Beetle is the good guy. Beetle is what I strive to be. Beetle means a lot. And then I'm obsessed with the concept of the end, you know, because every story, the first story was probably about the end. Because if you think about it, early stories were religious, you know. Early stories were all about what happens when you die. So the first story was the end. And the last story will also be the end. Because in the end, you can't escape the end. If there's a beginning, there is an end. And if there can't be an end without a beginning. So this character, he is the end. And he's very much inspired by big fear of mine, nuclear weapons. But I like the idea that the end doesn't always have to be the end. You know, it's the end of something, but the start of a new thing. So maybe he can use his power to do something good. So this plant right here is supposed to represent hope. His hope of becoming something more. This is the spider in the jar. The spider in the jar. This spider right here is trapped in a jar that he tangled in his own web. He entrapped himself in something else, even though he created it, the trap himself. And that means a lot to me. I feel like a lot of my problems are created by me. And I want to blame the jar, the other people. But in the end, it's my fault, you know? I'm the one that made the decisions that led to that. I'm the one that built the web. Built the web that was meant to catch things. But yeah. Anyways, art's interesting to me. Very interesting. The act of creating, you know. Sometimes I think to myself, though, I'm like, I'm here building, you know, I'm making things. And then I think more and I'm like, I'm not just making these communicated art. I'm making art right now. Even not just this video, but like what I'm seeing. I am seeing things. I'm creating it. This thing doesn't have a frame of reference without me, at least not the way I'm seeing it, the way I'm experiencing it, the way I'm thinking it, you know? Different people have different meanings to different colors, to different symbols, to different shapes, different ideas, you know? And I think to myself, I think a lot about what this all means, you know, what my perspective means in the grand scheme of things. And I just think, you know, I make this art that tries to communicate what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, but I feel like I could go more, you know? It doesn't just have to end at the comic book. I could try and achieve what I want to achieve with my actions. My actions could be art. Anyways, I'm ranting. This video is much longer than I meant it to be. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you like this raw cut sort of thing. But yeah, anyways, it's nice to share those thoughts with people. Maybe you'll be able to know me more eventually. So then my thoughts from this video could have even more meaning to you because you'll know what's going on in here more than just what I'm telling you. Okay, well, thank you.